Hi, I'm Julie Saxemeyer with Foundation for Baltimore County Public Library.
And I'm Josh McCready, and welcome to Giving Tuesday.
Giving Tuesday!
Giving Tuesday is a international day of giving for charities and nonprofits, and we're hoping you're feeling generous today.
So we're going to introduce a bunch of fun videos with people from around our system, telling you about everything that we're doing at Baltimore County Public Library. And we have a very exciting match.
Yeah, we have a dollar for dollar match thanks to a very generous matching grant from Ann and Chris West. And they are matching dollar for dollar up to $75,000 any gifts made today and through to the end of the year, December 31st. And if you give $120 or more, you get a very special gift.
You get a window cling, which you can display with pride on your car or in your laptop, however you want to display and share with everybody how much you support Baltimore County Public Library. So if you give $120, that's actually $240.
Exactly. Matched dollar for dollar by the Wests. And today our first guest is Jamie Watson, who is the manager of our collection development department. Our collection here at Baltimore County Public Library is one of the best in the state. We have an incredibly large, very diverse collection, and Jamie heads all that up. So Jamie's here today to talk about some new books that are hitting the collection that's just in time for the holidays. So take it away, Jamie.
Hey everyone, welcome to our Book Buzz presentation of some of the greatest books that have come out just in time for holiday gift giving season. This is one of the busiest, most wonderful publishing seasons I've seen in a long, long time. So it was really hard for me to narrow it down just to 5. So I went a little selfish. I went with the things that are my favorite things: music, fashion, sports, food, cats. We got a little bit of each one of those things. So let's start it off with music and Scattershot by Bernie Taupin. Bernie Taupin was Elton John's songwriting partner for many, many years. In fact, he still is. So if you read Elton John's Mew a few years back, you may have also gotten a little touch of this, but this is not Elton's story, this is Bernie's story. And I don't want this book to get lost in the shuffle of the other big music books that are out this year, the Britney Spears one, the Barbra Streisand one, because this one's pretty great on its own. Elton John is obviously a really out there character, but Bernie, his sidekick for all this time, could actually probably walk down most streets and not even get recognized by most people. He has been called rock's most visible unknown. So in this book, he finally is the one that gets to tell his story. It's not a rock and roll tell-all, but it is a tell-some. And he not only hangs out with Elton John, but he's hung out with Cher, he's hung out with Salvador Dali. He's lived an incredibly interesting life. So rock fans will really find a lot to enjoy in this book. Next, we're going to talk about the history of basketball in 15 Sneakers by Russ Bengtson. Russ Bengtson knows what he's talking about. He was the editor-in-chief of Slam, the basketball magazine, for a lot of years, and then he became the sneaker editor at Complex. So he talks about 15 sneakers and how they changed the culture, starting with the ever-popular Converse Chuck Taylor. You know, Chuck Taylor was a real basketball player. He was Michael Jordan before there was Michael Jordan. And back in the day, Chuck Taylors were what you wore. Kind of hard to imagine if you think about the basketball players you see today, an entire floor of people wearing those canvas Chuck Taylors, but it's true. So after Chuck Taylor, of course, came the big daddy, Michael Jordan, who changed sneakers and fashion and everything, Kobe Bryant, and then in future years, the technology has become almost as important as the name. He even has these really great diagrams that break down a shoe and talk about how every little part of it is there for performance, for fashion, for everything, and how these things have changed the world. People that like shoes or fashion in general find a lot to like, so it's not just for basketball fans, it's for anyone that wants to see why sneakers are now an appropriate thing to be worn on the red carpet. Another fashion book that the opposite of sneakers, the highest of fashion, is Anne Lowe, American Couturier. Through January, at the Winter Fair Museum in nearby Delaware, you can see the largest exhibit of Anne Lowe's clothes that have ever been displayed. In a perfect world, you can get on up there and see them for yourself, but if you can't, you can take a look at the book that goes along with the exhibit. Anne Lowe was born into a family of seamstresses in Alabama, and she went from that humble beginning to designing for Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis wedding dresses, for Olivia de Havilland, more and more, so many big names she designed dresses for. But at the same time, as a Black woman in this fashion industry, she was still experiencing segregation all the way to the end of her life. This is a beautiful book with so many pictures of the most gorgeous dresses you can imagine. And it also talks to contemporary Black fashion designers and talks about the influence that Ann Lowe had on them, both as designers and as Black people in the fashion industry. This title jumped out at me as soon as I saw this book come in. My Cat is Such a Weirdo by Tamako Tamagayama. It's the start of a new manga series that for anyone from ages teen and up. We have 1 volume in, the 2nd volume's coming out soon, and then there's a 3rd volume on the way in a little bit later. It started with a blog, which is all in Japanese, about this woman and her super weird rescue cats. This read is a perfect, fluffy as a cat read for busy holiday times or just a time when you need to kind of just read something enjoyable. So what's inside? Well, do you have a cat that likes to watch you go to the bathroom? Do you have a cat who loves no bed better than the clean laundry you just took out of the dryer? Do you ever wake up in the morning with your cat's face right up against your face, or his tail, or his butt? That's the kind of stuff you're going to see in My Cat is Such a Weirdo. And not only that, it's a manga with the cute little drawings of the cat, but you get to see actual photographs of the actual rescue kitties that inspired the book. Perfect for cat lovers. Finally, we have one of the most beautiful cookbooks of the season, Medan, Recipes from Lebanon and Beyond by Rose Previtt. Rose lives in Washington, D.C., where she started her first restaurant, Compass Rose, a number of years ago. I've been to Compass Rose. The signature dish is a khachapuri. If you've never heard of a khachapuri, it's a Georgian dish from Georgia, the country. It's like pizza, kind of. It's a little boat dough with cheese and egg in it. It is the richest and most amazingly delicious thing that you'll ever eat, and the recipe is inside here. So what does Medan mean? That's the name of her restaurant, her 2nd restaurant that she opened in D.C. It means it's an open space where people can come together. Her restaurant is designed this way, and her book is designed this way. Rose Previtt, as a restaurateur, has won Michelin stars and many other awards, been named the best restaurant in D.C. multiple times by multiple venues. In this beautiful, colorful book, she shows the recipes, of course, that's what you would expect in a cookbook, presented in beautiful full color. And it's not just from Lebanon. She also talks about other countries in the region, ranging from North Africa, the Middle East, to over in the Caucasus, where that khachapuri comes from. But it's more than just a cookbook. It also talks about her experiences as a 2nd-generation Lebanese immigrant, the immigration experience, how the immigration experience works with food and recipes and cooking and sharing and the conviviality of doing all those things together. It's so much more than just a simple cookbook, but it's a beautiful and perfect cookbook too. If you'd like to place a hold on any of these books during this holiday season, they're all in the catalog right now, available for you to place a hold on, and I hope you enjoy the rest of this Giving Tuesday.